India, Philippines, Kenya, South Africa, looking at less than $200 income folks using phones. So I'll be talking about that. Please come by to interest.
Upstairs foyer. And this is your marketplace, so you will come up, you will shop around, and then you will find your session. That's why we schedule 15 minutes for this. So we actually have this first, actually Citizen Media. Yeah, where are you? There you are. Last one, which is the...
Hello, I'm Meena from Citizen Matters. We are a community news magazine. I labeled this session as Citizen Media and Public Information. And we're going to be talking about what people, citizens need to know as well as want to know. And we're splitting into information, whether it is from the government.
Speak into the mic.
Oh, sorry. Do I need to repeat that?
Yes.
We will discuss what is citizen media, what is the kind of information that people want to know versus what they need to know, and stretching into the areas of information and interaction with the government, whether it's your voter rolls or it's your passport information and all that. So up to journalism, SMS-based journalism or citizen journalism. So we'll cover the things there. And this will be in the auditorium back. I guess it should be here.
That side?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so because you will not be here this afternoon, so I'm going to ask you to combine your payments. And then if you wanted to do part 2 of payments in the afternoon, if you're here. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm Rohan. I'm from Payments. And we deal with various technologies to do with mobile, widgets, applications, SMS, IPR, hybrid solutions. What we've done is we've developed a technology for Try, which is first of its technology in Asia, which lets you donate via a mobile phone. So I'm here to talk about that and to open the platform and maybe look at the requirements from your side and how we can help you. I'll be in the downstairs foyer, so maybe we can talk there. Thank you.
Okay, so you got the idea, yeah? We actually have populated the first set of sessions. We have these 2 other spaces, right? So if you moved to add a session, please do. You have a little more space here, but I think we have enough to kind of break out into small groups and get into deeper conversations on these topics. Now, as you go throughout the day and you see, hello, there's free spots, and you want to raise another topic, discuss something in more depth, please. This is a participatory process, as you can see. So we have, just to repeat, Baba Job, auditorium stage, and we will bring up chairs here. This is jobs in the informal sector. Upstairs foyer, designing for user needs, particularly low-income, poor, illiterate users, which will be upstairs foyer right outside. You're going to be near the T, so enjoy. Downstairs foyer, we have part 1 of the very elaborate and intense healthcare discussion, which you will going to continue, I can assure you of that, because an hour you will not cover it all. There's a second spot on the downstairs foyer, and Sunil is going to show you where that is, because he changed it on me, and I don't know anymore, which is an overview of some of the issues around M-payments. And then the auditorium back of the room is over there, citizen media and media on your mobile, which I am actually very keen on hearing, so I moved my session later to the afternoon. With that, please feel free to move. There will be tea outside later on, right after the session. Please take notes. Facilitators, make sure that you appoint somebody to take notes. Twitter, and for change, will be displaying the feed for.
And the top 2 reasons that they found that people got out of poverty was they got different jobs or they started a successful business. This is the World Bank study. I'll get you the name if you want. It's not. There's not an online version, which is annoying. You have to buy the book, which I find incredibly irritating. But there's some good reviews in it. And so, what's interesting. So my first thought So anyways, this diversification of income and getting these different jobs is really important. And historically, how did people learn about those jobs? It was they knew somebody who knew somebody. So going back to our earlier story, this woman on the left here, to our right here, she knew that rich family, right? And this, kind of matches up if you ask people around town, like, how'd you hire your maid, right? It's usually, well, I had a friend, and she had a cook, and she had a sister, and I hired her. Right? And this social network connection actually seems to be a really important factor, or at least it was historically. So when we began, we said, okay, if you could suddenly figure out a way to digitize all of the jobs, and digitize all of the seekers, and digitize the set of social networks between people, you could probably make this whole thing much more efficient. Right? And that was the sort of original inspiration right after I read that paper. So that was like 2.5 years back, and so fast forward a little bit, I would say the results that we've had have been a little more surprising. That, like many other markets, like eBay or Craigslist, that where there were previous person-to-person exchanges, the social network mattered a lot, right? Because how else were you going to hear about that unless somebody else was telling you, especially here in the village? Going forward, what we saw in terms of most of the people actually getting hired on our site, they were essentially agreeing on another set of factors. One of those was clearly traffic. Right? People want, as traffic gets worse and worse and worse every day in urban India and throughout the rest of the developing world, and the nano comes online, the sheer amount of time that people commute is going down tremendously. Right? You cannot, well, the time is actually remaining fixed, but the distance that you can travel within that time is going down tremendously. Right? And so we find that there's more and more of a need for this local data. In particular, the other thing that we found is salary is actually a huge factor, right? If you want to name, like, what makes for a good interview, it's you agree on a category, the job's nearby, and you're both agreeing on pricing, right? If you have those three things, you're at least willing to talk to each other. It's then a matter of, can you reach some trust threshold? So that the employer says, if I'm going to invite this person into my house, I know they're not going to steal from me, or at least reasonably confident that they're not going to steal. And, especially in household employers, that's really important. If you look at the larger segments, like the cockpit zones out there, they care less, right? The thing that they want is this person going to be reliable? They're actually interested in that they actually like people that are moving from out of town because they tend to stay on the job for a whole year rather than only 4 months at a time. And I would just say we learned a lot, and I would say we overestimated the importance of the social network at first, and underestimated the importance of it's a market, right? And you have to satisfy these market needs. To give you a really clear example, I was running this business out of my house for the first year and a half, and about 9 months ago, my neighbor had a maid. And she heard that we had a job site and she could walk upstairs and register for free. So she walked upstairs and she found another job in a week. They paid 30% more, that was a kilometer away. And so she quit the next day. Right? Now my neighbor was pissed, and for her my answer was, I've got 3,000 other maids, right? You can search by category, you can search by language, you can search by the level of experience, right? Please go ahead and you're welcome to go ahead and use it. But at least for the job seeker, this is a very clear example of given better data about her economic choices that she can make, she will make a rational decision that will lead to higher income, just like anybody else would, right? That if she really liked that employer or thought that she was fairly paid, she would have stayed, right? But given better opportunities, she's going to take it, right? And so from our perspective, it's, wow, if the data historically is showing that this is the prominent way that people actually led to income increases, right? Then if we can help facilitate that, we can do good. Now, then the question is, okay, how do we do that on a big, big scale? The vision of the company is to basically say, if we can make this market efficient, we should be able to replicate it profitably and push it everywhere. I worked at Microsoft for 9 years, right? My model as an individual for social impact is actually to go through, if you really want to reach 100 million people, you either have to be in government, right, or you have to start a company. Even the most effective examples of microfinance as something that's come in and really touched a lot of people, it is absolutely the fact that Citibank is there is an idea of how much of a business that really is. And so, from my perspective, it's if we can align these incentives so that